UFC 235, 2 controversial finishes, 1 new champion. We have so much to talk about, you guys. Ryron and Rener, we're back in your lives with the Gracie breakdown. Sorry for the time off. How was the Philippines?
Amazing.
He's back though, ready to work, you guys. Here's the deal. Ben Askren arrives to the UFC, highly anticipated UFC debut. The hype is real. He gets there. Robbie Lawler, tough opponent, catches him in a choke. And the question is, was it early stoppage?
Yes.
Did that affect the outcome?
No.
That's what we're here to discuss, you guys. And because it was called a few seconds earlier than maybe it should have, Ben Askren, hype train, is getting a little derailed by the public when it shouldn't be. He deserves the respect. If we would have waited 3 more seconds, Robbie Lawler, 4 or 5 more seconds, was going out, and that's what we want to demonstrate right now. And because of that, we should not be taking anything away from Ben Askren's UFC debut. It was a spectacular performance. He got rocked early. He got slammed on his head. Here's the deal. This happened after the scramble. They get back up. He goes to his knees. Askren wraps his neck in this gable grip, and Robbie, in his attempt to get out, slips out, but his neck remains stuck right here. Pull both, yes. So then he has his hand on the neck. They're stuck up against the cage. He has this bulldog choke right here, chin facing out, fully locked up right here. Now, the chin might have been slightly tucked, as the commentators commented, but the chin was still facing out, and that's the key point we're going to talk about in a second. What happens? He's squeezing right here. The hand goes from the head. It goes limp. And at that point, Herb Dean shoots in. He knows how effective this technique is. He shoots in, he grabs the hand, and the hand kind of slips out of his grip, and that's when he makes the stoppage and he's out. The question is why? I've been in this talk many times with Herb Dean and many other referees, and what they say is, when I grab your hand, give me a little squeeze. That's what they tell you backstage. The problem is, when Robbie's fighting for his life and getting choked, he's not thinking of the exact protocol for how to show that I'm still in this fight. So he just did, if I do this, he just took his hand away.
Yeah, he doesn't know who's grabbing his hand.
He doesn't know, like, well, and he's just saying, yo, I'm not done, I'm still in this. So he pulled his hand away, and maybe because it didn't follow the right protocol of, when I grab, you squeeze back. Okay, he's still in this fight. Because it didn't follow that protocol, maybe Herb Dean couldn't see his face, and he made the call then to call the fight. The choke was in, and he thought he was out, quickly to realize he wasn't. And Herb's one of the best referees in the game, so it was a mistake. And I think he knows it, and Robbie knows it. Everyone knows it, but here's the point. It was legit choke.
It was legit, and Herb Dean knows how legit it is. He knows how scary this technique is.
Yes.
This is real deal. So even he's envisioning himself in there like, man, this is bad news. You're probably going to go out in a second if you're not already out.
And when we're sparring with each other or anybody else high level, when you catch the deepest, dopest submissions, you're not waiting for like 16 taps. When you have a perfect submission, you're waiting for this. Look, look.
Well, you're waiting for
anything to happen, and you respect right away. So Herb, it almost shows a high level of understanding of how dangerous the move is, in his credit, more so than just a bad call. I don't think we should generalize it like that for anybody, including the referee. So real quickly on the actual choke, when it's wrapped up like this, it got locked in, the chin was slightly tucked, but here's the deal, you guys. If the fight was not stopped, Robbie would go unconscious from this position or situation. That's our belief, just based on our experience with this choke.
What if the chin is tucked?
So tight. Oh, and the chin tuck debate, oh, because the chin is tucked, it's just pain, it's not blood choke. That's not true either. Ask Conor, ask Khabib from their last fight. Chin was tucked, tuck your chin, tuck your chin, tuck your chin. Don't tap, it's just pain, it's just pain. It's just pain, why'd you tap? Tell him.
Because it's not just pain. That's why.
You're going to sleep. So in the bulldog choke, when he has his chin facing out, it's even chin tucked. It's with your whole body and all of your back squeezing in right here.
That was worse than the rear naked choke.
Interesting.
That felt worse.
So it's even worse, you guys. So, moral of the story, that choke was in. There was no easy path of escape. Ben has incredible base. And let's not forget, Ben has 5 submissions in his MMA career prior to this one. All 5 were chokes. Anacondas, Darces. He's no newbie when it comes to squeezing a neck. So he was latched on and he wasn't going to let go for his life. We know that. So in that sense, I don't think we should take away anything about his UFC entry, his debut, because of an early call, trying to protect the fighter, which Herb was doing, which is beautiful in itself. Now, in terms of defending and escaping the situation,
it's just a headlock.
Yes. Well, yeah.
It's just a headlock. You can just defend it.
We got some of our beginner students who were like, Rener, why didn't he just get out of the headlock? We learned that in the beginner class, Gracie Combatives. And yes, you learned that, but there's a big difference. Headlock, the chin is facing in. Boom! Look at this. And now, whether I'm standing up, go up like, do that. Now it's just,
there's no...
So many escapes, frames, hooks, look at this. Anything he wants, he can do there. Frame the neck, bring his leg in the fight. Anything you want, you can do. But come back up. If your chin is facing away, and I'm latched on neck, let's say I'm chin or not, doesn't matter. But if I'm facing away, turn in and face me. It gets tighter. It gets tighter. Look, turn away, try to sit out the other way. It gets worse. Everything gets tight, you guys. And here's why the bulldog choke is, because some of them are wondering, if this move is so devastating, why aren't more people doing the bulldog choke? And the answer is, very rarely is the bulldog choke entered into as a bulldog choke. It's a rear naked choke that is attempted to be escaped from, and the escape fails, which drops you off in the bulldog choke. This is the end of the rope when it comes to chokes. You've failed to escape this one correctly, and that's exactly what happened in this case. It was a rear naked choke. They were here, go to your knees, and then sit throughout the back. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. He's got stuck. Now it got even tighter. It got even worse.
So what did he think he was gonna do?
Just peek out, come out the back. Like if I had it loose, so slip out, slip your head. Yes! And come out in reverse.
Oh,
yes.
Man, that's a lot to ask.
Yes, that was the idea. And it's happened many times, you guys. We're talking Carlos Newton, Pat Miletich way back when. Raquel Pennington got a bulldog choke. Uriah Faber, bulldog choke. Those actually, I think those two were in the same night. And then as recently as Yancy Medeiros had a reverse bulldog choke, which was a guillotine, and the opponent attempted to sit out, and it became a reverse bulldog choke. So in all these cases, these initial choke defenses gone wrong become bulldog chokes, and they're so nasty, you guys, once they're locked in, and Herb Dean knew this.
So get my back. So back to this fight.
Right.
Robbie rolled this way.
And tried to come out the back.
Turned this way. And we discussed this idea of going this way. Now slipping your shoulder out. My shoulder slips in between his chest and my body. The problem with this,
yes,
is look where I end up.
Back on the ground.
Nobody wants to be here.
Not in MMA, right? So it's so frowned upon. So whether you're sitting like this, you don't go on your knees even. Let's do it from the knees. Like this. Let's say it's here and I wrap. Watch what he does. Look, it's called a shoulder slip, you guys. Stand up. Come up with this over here. Look. If I wrap a little low right here, look. If I grab this, look. Shoulder slip. The idea of introducing your shoulder between you and the subject on a rear naked choke, that's how you avoid a bulldog choke. But in any one of these cases, if you, instead of going this way with the direction of the, this is how you know. Here's how you always remember. Where should your back go? This is all you remember. All you remember. My finger points your way out. The choking hand tells you where to put your back.
That's confusing because your finger's pointing your way out and you decide to go there.
No. I mean put your back that way.
I know what you mean.
I know.
But you see how people want to go?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, but nonetheless, if you go the other way, the finger's not pointing, that's when the choke gets tighter, the rope gets tighter, and in some cases, kind of unrecoverably tight, which is what happened in this situation, and for so many successful bulldog chokes that we've seen over the years. So the question isn't, how do I get out of a bulldog choke? The question is, how do you defend the rear naked choke correctly so that the bulldog choke is not the end result of that chain of events? Because once you're locked in, it's one of the deepest and hardest submissions to get out of. Right, it's a very tight choke. There's so much pressure, so much control, and so much squeeze, chin tucked or not. And there were some people, like I said, who were talking about how he could have escaped this way or that way. All of those speculating that think that the chin was free, but it wasn't. He was on the chin strap, and as long as your chin is facing out, there's no easy way out.
We need to spend more time, of course, become masters at not getting our backs taken, but then once your back is taken, being very familiar with how to slip out and fall out of rear naked chokes does a lot for you.
Kamaru Usman, unbelievable performance against Tyron Woodley, and there was beautiful control, distance, striking, takedowns against one of the least takedownable people in UFC history. Kamaru Usman did his thing, got him to the ground, and there was one moment in the fight that we loved, which was his mount control. I think it was round 2 where he landed, and he just beautiful hooks, like incredible pressure. And remember, Tyron Woodley is a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, got it during one of his UFC fights recently, and Kamaru Usman mounted and did not just do what everybody does, which is sit up and just drop bombs and hope for that TKO, in which case he would have lost the mount very quickly. Instead, he was in there, a lot of time spent on underhooks. Why? Why the underhooks?
This is the last thing that I want is my arm trapped here. I want this hand free so I can put my hands on his hips, which Tyron also did. He attempted to put both hands on the hips, attempted to bridge his hips, and then lift Usman up. The problem is that when he raised his hips, his feet carried his weight, grounding himself to the ground, and then Usman used my hamstrings and anchored himself. He didn't go anywhere.
So the hip thrust mount escape that the commentators were yelling for and that Tyron Woodley tried works better when I'm up here. But now look, hips up, push the hips and you're gone. So that's the standard variation of the kind of hip thrust mount escape from the bottom of the mountain. Both hands or even fists on the hips work really well and you off balance. When they're sitting up, it's a perfect technique. Problem. Usman stayed so low with those hooks in that this doesn't apply. He had great pressure, he was low, so instead he has a different variation. Watch what he does with his legs. Down, up, and he's out every single time. This is it's the slippery fish variation of the hip escape.
That's not what it's called, but it's a good hip escape.
Doesn't it feel like it though? It's like I'm trying to hold on to a fish with my legs, but he just slips out. Let's do it again, I'll try to resist a little more.
Check this out.
Even if I have my feet crossed or my hooks in tight, watch what he does. Legs down, look. Oh, it's so annoying.
So
do it by yourself.
With all his weight, oh no, it's easier to show with you right here again. With all his weight on me, I put both hands in his hips. Now, what I want to do is I want to rock him forward with my legs, and then after I rock, I pop, and I bring him from this to this. I bring my arms.
Oh,
now
look at the frames!
So he's on my forearms.
Show him the frame.
Now there's space for my knee to come in.
Look at those frames, you guys.
Again, by myself now, one time.
So good.
So my hands are here. I need to go from this to this. It's very little movement. And what makes that possible is this rock, and then watch my body. I do a little pop, and it takes its weight off my hands for one split second. So here, rock, oh here. And as my knees come in, and now I have guard.
So this is the only variation of the hip thrust kind of mount escape that is useful when the person has full hooks in, and even a neck hug crossface, it can still be done.
But not an underhook.
But not if you have this. This is the counter to that escape.
I can't do it.
And the fact that Usman had so much time spending with this underhook made us believe that he was aware of this potential, and he went from strikes back to this, and strikes back to this. He was always stayed low in his strikes, and that's what just showed so much intelligence in his mount versus boom, 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 and then boom, this would have gone straight off.
Potentially, and the commentators were mentioning even how Tyron could not escape because the strikes kept his hands from lowering to the hips. And there's some truth to that, but there was still many opportunities for his hands to drop down to the hips. The problem is that when he went and he tried, again, he bridged and he kept his feet nailed to the ground.
Which means if your feet are anchored to the ground, I'm anchored to your feet, which means I'm anchored to the
ground.
Thank you very much, you guys. So the connection was strong as long as his feet were on the mat. So the slippery fish variation would have been the kind of the applicable method against those beautiful Usman hooks. Just beautiful.
The only problem with you joking about the name slippery fish is that now they're going to call it that.
What do you want to call it?
Not that.
Make something else up.
No. It's just a hip thrust escape.
I know, but it's a different variation.
With the light legs.
Okay, got it.
It's a light leg variation.
No, they're not going to remember that. It's not as memorable.
Slippery fish.
You know, trying to hold on to a fish, it's like this, and it's shaking, shake the fish, shake the fish. It's very hard, and that's what it feels like. My hooks are on, but they're not able to hold the fish. He slips away. Jon Jones, Anthony Lionheart Smith. Controversial knee to the head at the end of the fourth round. Regarding the whole fight, Jon Jones doing his thing, right? Just in spectacular combinations, movement, fluidity. It's just art in motion to see him, you know, the way he strikes and the way he calculates distance. Anthony Smith gets kneed with his head. 10 seconds left, fourth round, gets cracked and is down. And, right, the situation being, Anthony was building the house. He was here, he had one foot up. This happened, and he got cracked. Here's the problem. That knee is legal in California based on the new unified rules of MMA, okay, established by the Association of Boxing Commissions and Combative Sports. It's illegal in Nevada because Nevada chose not to adopt that modification. And Nevada, as well as several other states, Missouri, Ohio, New Jersey, are some of the states that have not adopted that particular rule in the new unified rules of MMA.
Be very clear. California allows.
Yes, California, if you have, so in Nevada, if you have anything touching the ground other than the soles of your feet, you're grounded. Even this, you're grounded.
In Nevada,
you're grounded.
Anything, only two things in the ground.
Yes.
Now you can be kneed.
Anything else, I can be kneed now, but here I can't be kneed.
Here you cannot be kneed.
Here I can't be kneed. Here I can't be kneed in Nevada. In California, it has to be anything other than 2 feet and 1 hand touching the ground, you're grounded. For example, here, grounded, kneeable in California and many other states.
Got it.
Here, but if your knee is down, that rule is always done. So as soon as your knee is down, no matter what your hands are doing, just for clarity, you're always not kneeable in the head or kickable if the knee is down. But the second you hear California, you're gonna get kneed in the head, and that's what happened. The problem is Jon Jones' last fight was scheduled in Nevada, but took place in California. So what he did would have been legal in California in his last fight. Isn't that crazy? And then in the middle of a fight in Nevada, he's now expected to remember that this knee is no longer legal based on the state you're fighting in, you guys. This is a problem.
This is not very united.
Unified rules of MMA are not very unified if they change from state to state. So MMA has to get this together because when you're fighting for your life in the cage, you're not necessarily always operating in your prefrontal cortex, right? Rational decision-making capability. You're in your lizard brain, your amygdala, and oftentimes the amygdala hijacks the prefrontal cortex, so to be asked to remember what state you're in before you throw a knee that could make or break your future is a very tough request to make on a professional fighter who's in there putting it all on the line. It's not reasonable to expect them to know the difference. So
Jon Jones wasn't under too much stress at the moment that he threw the knee strike.
But he's exhausted 4 rounds in, almost in his 5th round, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a fight still.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's just his nature, you know what I mean? If he's just, no matter what happens, he just throws knees, kicks, like not even too much thinking. He's just fighting, he's just going to war.
Possibly. I don't know.
I wonder if he almost like lives in lizard brain. You know what I mean? All the time. Not even just the fight. He's just all the time. War.
It's worked pretty well for him. He knew it was illegal. Anthony Smith knew it was illegal, but chose to continue the fight anyways. Lionheart. Some people say they would have taken the free victory. Others say, no way, you know, you have to earn it.
Well, you have to ask the only one question. Did it affect you?
Right.
How do you feel?
Some people think that
he can't move and he's like,
some people
stars,
question,
then I can't fight anymore. But if you get kneed in the head, it's, oh, I feel good, then keep going.
But some people question whether the fighter should even have the right to choose. If it was illegal, it was illegal. Whether the fighter can continue or not, you're disqualified.
That is a good point.
You don't know, the doctor comes in or the referee says, no, that was illegal, the fight's over. That's another question. We don't have an opinion on the matter. All we know is unified rules of MMA are not that unified. And in the meantime, this is going to keep happening. So the moral of the story is if you're fighting MMA as a sport, you guys, know the rules, know the state. If you're training Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the state and the rules and the street doesn't matter. It's always the same. GracieUniversity.com, you guys. We hope you appreciated and enjoyed the breakdown. A lot of seminars coming up, and we changed Gracie University completely online. Subscription every week, new Gracie breakdowns, bonus breakdowns that we do of fights all the way back. So every fight that doesn't make it on YouTube, we're breaking down, and we're still putting it up on GracieUniversity.com. And narrated sparring videos released every Monday. New sparring video, new breakdown. And we have over 300 videos in the library right now, and a new one coming out every week. So check that out.
It feels like pretty much 300 lessons.
It's ridiculous.
A breakdown is a lesson.
Each one,
maybe
like
even
this,
2 or 3 or 4 lessons in one breakdown.
And we used to only tie these bonus breakdown videos to their own subscription, but now if you subscribe to Gracie Combatives, you get breakdowns, narrated sparring every month. Women Empowered, Gracie Bully Proof, Master Cycle. No matter what you subscribe to, you get all the goods, new video every week for every subscription on our GracieUniversity.com website. So check that out at GracieBreakdown.com to see all the options there. Seminars coming up, big things happening, you guys. We have our Gracie Immersion Camp in Orlando, May 8th through 12th. If you have a family, you have Jiu-Jitsu, you love your family and you love Jiu-Jitsu, that's the vacation to go to. Everyone goes, kids are training over here, parents over there, women empowered over here, advanced, beginners, everything's split up. And then of course, Disney World, all day in between Jiu-Jitsu, all the parks, all the fun, you guys. Why go on a regular vacation if you could go Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, that is a regular vacation with Jiu-Jitsu.
This is true.
Yeah.
However, if Jiu-Jitsu is your vacation from your family,
sometimes you need that.
Sometimes you need that separation, and you're a blue belt or higher, tell them about Jiu-Jitsu Lifestyle Summit going down.
It's coming out right now, March 20th through 24th. So if you want to just immerse yourself, 10 hours a day, Jiu-Jitsu conversations, Jiu-Jitsu techniques, sparring, meals, mobility, exercise, who knows? Let's have some guest speakers, come to that.
Blue belts or higher, submit the application, GracieUniversity.com/JJLS. We have seminars coming up in Washington, D.C. in June 23rd. You have a big New York Super Seminar happening May 4th and 5th, you guys.
Yes.
Check out GracieUniversity.com/seminars. It's all there. And we hope you guys had as much fun and learned as much as we did along the way.
Yes.
Everybody searches for some group to come together with that has an ability to bring out the best in them. We're all searching for this sense of community that's going to make us not just survive life, but thrive in life. And there's this amazing thing that happens within our Jiu-Jitsu community, right? And it's people with like-mindedness coming together and building each other up. Now, there's 2 ways to go about your Jiu-Jitsu. There's throw you in the deep end, start rolling and break you down, and maybe we'll build you back up. Or there's this amazing community that I'm involved in where the Jiu-Jitsu that we're developing within our 4 walls and the greater extent of our community outside of it around the world is allowing us to build people up. And the community grows together, which means we're going to go very far together. And it means that we're going to be able to train for the rest of our lives because we want to come back to that community. And we want to have these connections with the people that we have on our mat, within our 4 walls, on social media, in the greater universe of our Jiu-Jitsu that we get to communicate with, that help us grow, help us become better people, not just on the mat, but at our workplaces, with our wives, with our children, with our friends, better communicators, physically, verbally, mentally with ourselves. And it's just this amazing environment to be part of. So if you can have the opportunity to, make sure you get to a mat, make sure you get to a culture that helps build you up and make you feel good. Not break you down when you leave and you feel terrible about the experience, but makes you feel alive. And when you leave, you feel energized and you go home to your partner and your family and you feel amazed to be part of it. It's what Jiu-Jitsu can do for you.